Joining me now as a special guest tonight is Allport. He is a professor of history of Syracuse University in New York. Alan, good morning to you. I know this is an important and emotional moment for you as a student of history to watch this. Lauren was talking about the significance of this day being monumental. We'll never see this again. Reigning for 70 years, the longest serving British monarch. Talk to me about how this moment touches you.
I think I'm 52. The Queen has been part of my life for my entire life. That she was the entire life almost of my mother. And there are very, very few people in Britain who have any adult memories of a monarch before Queen Elizabeth. She has been there in an extraordinarily long time. She's had a remarkable lifespan. And if you think about the world that she entered in 1952 when she became Queen. This is just 7 years after the end of World War II. There is still food rationing in Britain. London is still covered in bomb sites. Winston Churchill is Prime Minister. Britain still rules an empire. It's a different world. It's an entirely different world. During the course of her reign, Britain has transformed in lots of different ways. And I get the feeling that for many people today, there is obviously a personal sadness about the death of a monarch who has felt as though she's been part of their life for so long. But it's also the end of an era as well. Queen Elizabeth II was the last head of state to have been in the military during World War II. She'd been in the Auxiliary Territorial Service. The generation that she represented has now almost all passed away. And so I think what people are mourning and celebrating is a world that we will not see again.
And she had her ups and downs. She reigned through crisis and celebration, but today is an example of how much she was loved. You look at the world leaders who are in attendance today for her service, the million people who are in London today who normally would not be to attend and to pay tribute. That is the indelible mark that she left on people's lives. What void does that leave now as the matriarch, as a steady hand and leader for King Charles now to fill?
Well, monarchy is a lottery. You never quite know who you're going to get. And of course, the individual personality of the monarch is going to have an enormous imprint upon their reign. The Queen's father, George VI, although his reign was comparatively short, was one of great duty and service through an extremely difficult period, World War II. His brother, Edward VIII, of course, who infamously abdicated in 1936, had been not nearly so successful. So an awful lot of what is, I think, the imprint that the Queen has had has been about her personality, and it's one which has obviously, her entire life, as she had promised when she turned 21, was to be about service both to the United Kingdom and also to the broader British Empire and Commonwealth as it became. That is extremely difficult to fill. I think one would have to feel a good deal of sympathy for King Charles, as he now is. Being the Prince of Wales must be one of the most difficult jobs in the world. It's been described as not a position, but a predicament, because it's constantly waiting for something to happen, which of course you don't want to happen on a personal level. And he's had to wait an extraordinarily long time, the longest ever. So he's now far from being a young man, but he's very well known as well. He has, he has, as we'd say now, an awful lot of baggage that comes with him. The Queen didn't have to deal with having become Queen at so young an age. So we will see, but it is going to be a very different kind of reign for him than it was for his mother.
Right. She had to learn on the job, and he's had his life to prepare for it. What you're seeing now is the Queen's coffin and the procession making its way to St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. Members of the royal family are joining in the procession. Minute guns are being fired. That is happening on the East Lawn.